What's going on, traders? Welcome back. You guys know where you're at. Start swing trade, of course, and it has been a day of all days as finally they can say down goes Frazier as NVIDIA comes down there towards the 421. And what a call this morning, of course, on pre-market prep. And we were just talking about this just yesterday right here, of course, on Start Swing Trade. Would NVIDIA start to fall after SMCI's report comes in tonight? Well, we saw it. SMCI report come in. It gets to SmackDown, and just a few minutes later into the open, what do you get? The NVIDIA SmackDown, now down there towards the 422s and really starting to break trend. Came down all the way to the 50 moving average, cracking the 9 and really starting to use that as resistance, not making its way back to 460s, now back down to 428s. And now you've got to start questioning, where will the buy the dip come in? Because it doesn't necessarily mean that, it's completely broken. And I think that that's one thing that we want to talk about. Of course, is this more correction mode or is this a broken trend, right? I think we're starting to see that, yes, we broke trend. We're in correction. But are we really going to come back and kind of fill this gap? That's one thing that we need to think about. Because if we come back and fill this gap, well, then that's definitely going to start being a bigger decline than expected. That's about 17%. Of course, from the highs was around the 480s. Right now, we're down about 11%. Maybe we get closer towards a 15% retracement or a 20% retracement. We'll see if it gets down there into the 23s and 24% into that gap with NVIDIA. But let's take a look at the Qs. The Qs also pulling back today. It wasn't just NVIDIA, right? It was a story overall about tech leading the downside action. And that's where we got to start being careful, team, because tech is what led the rally, right? Now, what are we starting to see? Well, this rally is really starting to break. And if anything, quick correction here as we're getting this tech pullback. Now, of course, from the highs of tech, where I have the sectors, it's about 5.9%, maybe 6% there on the pullback. I'm going to look for a little bit more. And I think that we can still get a little bit more here. We're seeing Meta come right back down and almost fill the gap. We were talking about it. Would it fill this gap here to the left-hand side, almost filling the whole gap today? And so we'll see if this can come right back down through that 302 and fill the gap. That's Meta. And let's just be honest, when Apple's going to continue going down and you got stocks like Microsoft that just continue to leak and leak. And one thing to notice, though, is that Microsoft is finally starting to slow down a little bit. Looks like we're finally not going to just continue the trend of like kind of making new lows. We're finally starting going a little bit sideways here off the 322s, which is a pretty decent pullback from Microsoft. That's about 11.5%. So one of my indicators I'll be watching for is when Microsoft can actually finally get out of this decline, right? When will it start making its way back to 330s, 336? That's something that I'm keeping in mind, because if not, it could fall all the way back here towards the 300, if not the 305 spot. And if that happens, I could see continued downside coming in. Today, one of the best ways that I called out to maybe play this downside action was with Success. Nice little lift here. We'll look to see if this continues going through 10. And there's other plays, right? You can go for the SQQQs. That didn't do bad today. Now making a move there to 1930s and really starting to hold like kind of 18 pullbacks. Now you're starting to get out of that range where 18 seemed like support. Now you're looking at more like 1850s. We'll see if this can keep going up there towards the 20s, but definitely stocks getting hit today hard. Let's take a look at some of the earning stocks. And then, of course, we'll also talk a little bit about the Penn action today. You guys in the chat, if you guys have something you want to take a look at, throw it up. We'll definitely get to it. It's good to see you guys out there, Jay, Raz, the Crow. It's always good to see you guys out there. What a week, says Crassy. I agree. And it's only Wednesday. All right, let's keep going, guys. Utilities leading the upside action. And, of course, actually, energy is leading the upside action. Let's restart this. So it looks like communication services, energy, and utilities are on the upside. Of course, energy, not going to be mad about that. Look where I have XOM now, guys. XOM is now up there towards 109.94. Today getting above the 110s. what has been my outlook in oil all this time was XOM with the pullbacks, and really nice pullback recently. Now it's really starting to get in the driver's seat. So now is when I'd start to take a look at maybe even taking a shot on Chevron. This actually doesn't look too bad at all. And I could see it going right back up through towards the 162. Oxys doesn't look too bad. MPC, man, what a move recently. Marathon Petroleum Corp, of course, as you're starting to see natural gas also get a lift. This one getting a big move here. MPC, look at the takeoff since July, right? I've been talking about oil going higher. And there you guys see it. There's a lot of these stocks ripping higher in the oil names. I hope that you guys are being able to nail some of these. ConocoPhillips looks good here. Valero was my first one, and that one just keeps going. It's up there now to 134. What a move there for Valero as it pulled back to the 126, reloaded, and it's back up there. All right, let's keep going. Mentioned in the chat, Dano, you said it, Mitch, AI rally starting to show some cracks. And it's really not necessarily so much about that I've said it, but the key there, right? How can we learn from this moment? And that's what I wanted to talk about with the show me the money situation, right? Where's the revenues? I'm starting to see that the cracks really are is that there is no revenues, or at least none that they're telling us of. And that's very important, because if AI is just going to be a hype, well, then guess what? The hype eventually dies. And you can see it here in C3 AI, now down there to 32s. What a hit on this one today, as I thought that the AI names were going to start taking a hit, and also momentum names taking a hit. What a move down here. Does not look good in AI as it starts to come down. And I would be personally letting this one go. I think this one eventually gets down there back towards 20, if anything, back to 15. So I don't want C3 AI. I don't want SoundHound. I don't want IonQ anymore. These names I feel are going to quickly come right back down. I feel like IonQ could come right back down to maybe even $5 or $6. There's no reason for this stock to be up as high as it went. It's just going off of more short squeeze action. And other stocks like this, Carvana, growth names, right? I talked about it today on PreMarket Prep that I could see this trade turn right back around. They gave everything they could do today. They gave their guidance higher. They tried to push the stock. They tried to get it going. Guess what? Got stuffed right there out the open. Now back down to the 42s. I think this is going to really quickly start coming right back down. Affirm also weak as of late. And it just seems to me like all these stocks that were momentum names pushing to the upside really quickly just dying right back down. And stocks like even Roku that were super high, they got up there to 98, looking like it wanted to break out. Look how it's breaking down today and moving right back down. So this just goes to show me that really quickly we can be back down on those growth names. ARKK back down to 43s. Just as quickly as you go up is just as quickly as you come down. So big names really turning around today. Twilio right back down. It just seems like a lot of these tech names just getting whacked today. Even if they're high cap names, there's just not many names in the green. And that's what you're going to be careful of if we're going to see continued tech correction. You could see it in so many names today. I could flow through these names, and these charts just don't look good. Oracle down to 113, ASML, even Adobe coming right back down, and stocks that even have real like AI revenue, right? Like I think Adobe is really making some AI revenue, but even that stock is starting to come down, and that looks like a head and shoulders top. So we got to be really careful with the correction continuing. Of course, with CPI coming in tomorrow, this could even go further down. Some people were thinking about, well, is this just reaction ahead of the CPI? And I think this just has to do with AI. Has nothing to do with inflation. But be aware, traders out there, that how I feel right now, I feel like we're going to get a surprise hot report where inflation is actually going to show a tick up, not a tick down. And I think that that's something that you need to keep your eyes out for. That could shake up this turn, right? That could turn this bull market right back in. So we'll see what happens there. Keep your eyes to see what happens in the market, but things aren't looking too good as we speak. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other action. Crassy said, affirm and upstart, no trade list for me. And yeah, because this is what you don't want to see. I'll tell you one thing. I'm a little bit upset I didn't short upstart at 70. I wanted to, because man, that would have been one of the biggest gains of the year. 52% in what, 4 days? Oh my God, what a win that would have been. And we were talking about that. Where? Right here, of course. Start swing trade, guys. Hit that share button down below. It seems like we're not getting to enough traders out there. So if you guys can do me the favor, if you guys enjoy getting this outlook, and I got to say, lately, I've been killing it. So share it with everybody. Hit that share button down below. Let everybody know this is the place you want to be if you want to be in the right spot for the close, looking for rotation, looking for the next moves, and of course, taking a look at some swing trading action. Let's keep going, team. Let's take a look at the other stocks in the market today. Of course, we've talked about energy. We've talked about technology, which is leading to the downside. Cyclicals come right back down, and I've talked about it. When the market goes extremely up, cyclicals are going to kind of follow. But also when the market just starts really getting hit, you're also going to see that turnaround in consumer cyclical names. And we have been seeing it. So be careful out there. I'll look to the downside today. Auto manufacturers taking a major hit today. Tesla back down 3%. And I've been talking about it. Would it come back into this gap zone? We drew this on. When did we create this? We created this on June. We created this on, June 26th. Looking for this to kind of close in this gap. 240s. It's right back down. Could be right there in just a little bit. Tesla coming right back down. And this is also going to affect, I think, in the long run, Ford. Remember when I was calling Ford short up here at 15 because of the strikes that were potentially could happen? Well, it did it way before it, and it went all the way back down to 1275. This is why I don't like GM. This is why I don't like Lucid, even though these stocks could make a little bit of a lift. Really, I don't think we're in that EV kind of adoption phase right now. And so with that being said, yes, in the long run, will Ford be a buy? Yeah, I could see it being buy. Tesla always has a tendency of pulling back to extreme moments and then coming right back up. That one just goes with the trend. So I wouldn't count out Tesla, of course. And then GM also pulling back down. I could see GM right back down there to 34s and even maybe getting closer towards that 32. Let's keep going. We'll get into some other stocks out there. And if you guys have anything, we'll keep an eye out there. CPI more to the downside. We'll see. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to different stocks in the market. And there's more than just these stocks that are making moves, right? Let's see on the leading stocks on the downside here. What really got smacked today? We'll go to some different names than just tech names. Look at Paramount Global, right back down to 1563. This is a name I want nothing to do with. I don't know really how Warren got into this Paramount, but hey, to each his own. CCL is one that I've been thinking about shorting of, and we talked about this yesterday, and we were even talking about this on live trading with Wisdom. Wisdom was saying, well, I'm going to try to say this nicely. He was calling Carnival turd in the ocean. And you guys can see it, man. Look at that turnaround today in leisure. And you got to be careful with that because that's going to go ahead and hit RCL. I could see this coming back to 100. I could see NCLH coming a little bit further down. So just be careful. Norwegian definitely taking a hit. Leisure stocks taking a hit today. And those could keep coming right back down. So definitely leisure, not probably the area that you want to be in today. And it's all around here, right? It's not just one name. Even Peloton right back down, right? Names that we're starting to get a lift. Fun, Cedar Fun, Six Flags. A lot of stocks taking a hit. I'll tell you one thing. The way that the market is today, I'd feel scared if I was Disney to try to report on a day like today where leisure is getting no love. And if they report bad park numbers tonight, oh man, I'll tell you one thing. I'm not betting for or against Disney here because overall on the daily, I can see a lot of bottoming on this chart where institutions might have taken some position size and starting to get bigger, especially on this 85 day. But it could also just break down through that 85 and you're breaking long-term support. So honestly, I don't know what to think about on Disney. Do I think it's going to come back here towards 200 anytime soon? Hell no. I think they're doing things a lot. They're doing a lot of things the wrong way. I don't agree with the way that they went about it with Penn Sports today with their announcement. Of course, ESPN and Penn joining hands here, and Penn got the lift. And Penn's almost right back down where I wanted it, guys. I wanted it at the 26 spot. We went to 26.25, so we're almost to the point where I'd buy Penn, but I still need one more down action through that 26, and then I'll take a swing off of Penn. Wouldn't mind that one. But yes, I think in the long run, I think this is going to be good for Penn and bad for Disney in the long run. I think they could have easily spun off ESPN, created an ESPN bet, and then they could have gone and looked for what? They could have gone and looked for maybe some money to keep growing ESPN, right? They could have easily spun that off, I feel like. And I think there would have been a lot of people buying ESPN, especially a year or two ago, especially during the pandemic. Oh, man. If ESPN would have been spun off during the pandemic, it would have been a monster move. We'll see what happens there. If Disney can get the lift in their earnings, of course, they will be reporting tonight. And then you also get Wynn Resorts, which would be an important one. This has been pulling back. Of course, Wynn has that exposure to Macau. So I can see that one maybe taking a little bit of a pullback, but the earnings should be good in Macau. So we'll see what happens if these casinos can just pull back and then eventually catch a little bit of a lift. They've already been pulling back. And of course, this actually hit DKNG hard today on that pullback. We're almost to levels that I'll be looking to try to get the dip on DraftKings. If we can go back through this kind of 26 high and then back down somewhere in between this support, so somewhere between 26, 23s and 24s, I wouldn't mind getting DraftKings, but I'm going to let it come down a significant amount from that earnings report. Let's say a 20, 25% correction, and then I don't mind jumping in to DraftKings. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other action in the market. We can keep going through the SPY down action, but it's 353, guys. I'll start taking stocks from you guys. That's really what I'm always here for in the first place. You guys smash the like. Data Dog being brought up in the chat. Let's take a look at Data Dog. Did it catch the bounce? Just kind of sideways here. I think this is kind of more and more just kind of a stock that's just staying in line with the way that the market is going to go. If you get a nice update, maybe you can start working your way into this gap. But for right now, no one wants to buy or probably get short it because it already took the hit. And there's a lot of uncertainty out there right now. So Data Dog back down there to the 86. We'll look to see if there's some buy the dip mentality that comes in here. I'd be looking closer towards the 81 or 82 spot first and see a little bit of some red down below this low and then to recover into the gap. It wasn't the worst report, but just the wrong day. CNK mentioned in the chat, Cinemark Holdings. This is pulling back there and does not look good as it could not hold above 18. So that's not looking good. And the same thing for AMC, right back down, right? And so this does not look good at all on CNK. All right, let's keep going. Someone should make a picture of the mouse at the poker table, right? It should be like that, right? I mean, right now. Ratatouille was the last best Disney movie. Man, Crow, Ratatouille was what, like 10 years ago? If you can't spot the sucker in your first half hour at the table, then you are the sucker. And it feels like to me was Dave Portnoy the sucker, or was it Penn? We'll find out, right? All right, let's keep going, guys. Let's get into some other action in the market. Defensive's getting a little bit of a lift today. I did see Walmart make a new 52-week high. Is it still there? Let's see. It's close. Let's see. Where's the high close here? I have 159.87. And yeah, it looks like we'll still get it. So Walmart, new 52-week high, continuing to the upside, held the pullback, didn't break down. Will Costco keep pushing to the upside? man, it almost makes me feel like I definitely sold BJ's early as I see this one continue to grind higher. You guys know I was talking about BJ's wholesales for I think like 2-3 weeks. Man, I rode this position for 3 weeks and got a small gain out of it. But now it really looks like it's getting going here. How's Dollar Tree looking? Dollar Tree getting a little bit of a lift. Dollar General. How's Ollie? Ollie recently had been going sideways now. Now looks like it's trying to take that next step up. It's not a bad one. Keeps holding the 71 on pullbacks. We've had what? 1, 2, 3 attempts. Now this is the 4th attempt. I'd look for a day 2 move to maybe hold 72 on pullbacks. Take up there towards the 75s. We'll see what happens there on Ollie Bargain Outlet, but doesn't look too bad. Not a bad move there. All right, let's keep going. Yell flushing on volume now. Yeah, it's probably going to go right back down. And I think that's where it happens, team. And you can't expect too much from these stocks. Let's just be honest. Plug earnings today. Yes, that'll be an interesting one to keep in mind. It's at 1078. It's just a bad day, I think, to report. You know what I mean? One of the things is that it's always so important to have a good day to report. Today is a very negative outlook from traders. The only question is now the time to buy the dip? And that's why we start seeing some bounces in earnings tonight. But other than that, I wouldn't be wanting to report today. I would definitely be like, can we push it back 1 or 2 days? Because the market doesn't look good today. We'll see what happens there on Plug Power. Is it back above 1150s or is it below 10 off of this earnings report? Below 10, I'd really be careful. It could be right back down to 7. SQQQ rocking and rolling, baby. As it keeps going to the upside. This is what I thought we would get a little bit more downside in that NVIDIA pop above VWAP. Nice little move right back down. And it's not just this stock, right? Look at that move in Microsoft. They are letting the AI bubble just go. Bloop. It's gone, baby. It's gone. You got to be careful out there, team. It does not look good right now in the AI bubble. They could have just popped this. And the only thing I can say is,
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yep, I got a bad feeling indeed about this. We'll see if we could continue some downside action. And stocks like AI, I'm telling you, those are the ones that I definitely wouldn't want to be taking part in. Any pops in IonQ like we saw in the pre-market today back to 1625, that was a gift. So just be careful out there, team, with names like this. IonQ is not going to 60s anytime soon, at least in my eyes. This could instantly be a move right back down. All right, we'll see what else is going on in the market. It does not look good in anything to do with AI. So those names, I would definitely stay far away. Energy is looking like the best area right now. I'll tell you that much. Look at the XLE. Look how this has really started to turn up and really start holding. Now we're up there towards the 89, continuing to go. It's actually looking pretty good today. Halliburton, Valero, PSX, Phillips 66, just ripping, guys. SLB, Slumberjay, Hess. Look at that move above. EOG looking good there. PXD, one that I already had. Man, these oil names, they've really started to go. We'll look to see if MRO could push above 27. That doesn't look too bad. I'll keep that one on my radar for tomorrow. A move back above 27s on MRO. Doesn't look too bad at all. All right, let's keep going. Hot CPI tomorrow is what I think happens too. But, John, we'll have to wait and find out. CEG looks interesting. These all look pretty good. This is an independent power producer, but definitely looking pretty hot there. What about the Boyle and the natural gas traders? They got a little bit of a lift there. We'll look to see if this can actually really get out of this bottoming action. Of course, I'll draw kind of a trend resistance line really starting to hold above 75 is what I'd want to see. And I'd want to see about 2 days above this 75 so it doesn't just quickly come back down into that 70. We'll see what happens there on Boyle. All right, that's going to probably do it for us. Of course, there will be some earnings reports that hit right now. We can take a little peek at them as they come in. I will put the earnings calendar up for just a second here as we start to get some earnings to come in. Let me get my Benzinga Pro ready, see what I can find out here as we start getting the reports to come in. Of course, I'll be paying attention to certain ones like Disney, the Trade Desk, Plug, U-Haul coming in tonight, and some other ones, Wynn Resorts. What will happen to Disney? Let's go ahead. Let's take a look how Disney's reacting right now. Nothing yet. I don't see anything coming out. You guys see the earnings. Let me know on Disney. We're paying attention here. We'll see what kind of action we get here. I'm just doing a little bit of overtime for you guys since I was a little late today. There's the first reaction on Disney to the upside. And really quickly, the algos let it go around 88. It pulls right back towards 87 to 80. And you see how the spread goes quickly towards that 88. You could see it right here on the light blue. I'm going to make this pretty big here so that we can watch the action here. Big thing that I'd be watching for, do they go and make a move to 87.25s? That would be the downside action here. Let's see what we get in the news, of course, as we get some earnings reports to come in here. I'll be calling some of these out. Let's go to the news. Let me see what I see here. I am getting some earnings reports coming in here. I'm waiting for Disney. So I'll let you guys know as soon as I see Disney's hit the tape. But definitely, it's one of those days that we just don't know where things are going to go. Here's first reactions here on Disney towards the upside, back there towards 88.50s, now holding in there. We'll see if this can continue to climb. One thing that I've talked about is the daily levels here. Just makes me feel like this was institutional action here, and they were trying to buy the dip, and they built up a position here in the 86, 87s. So I'd really like to see if the 86 get hit today. If they don't, I think they might drive it back through the 90s, especially if that is institutional action. Just waiting to get the actual numbers here, but Disney's definitely on the move, team. What are you guys seeing out there? What's the downside target on Carvana? Next level support. That's what I'd be looking at, man. And I think that, like always, there's always layers. Look for the next layer, and we'll see what happens there. Ding, 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 ding is right, my friend. And like always, Jennifer, I'm always here. If you guys have any question, you guys can always reach out to me at MoneyMitchBZ or reach out to me anytime on Benzinga, of course. All right, we'll see what happens there on Disney. It is moving up and down here. Still looking to see the filing here. Let me see when I can get this earnings in there. All right, well, I still don't have the report, but I'm going to have to go check on that, see what's going on there for Disney's earnings. But that's going to do it for me. Like always, guys, smash the like. We'll see what happens. Like always, catch me bright and early on pre-market prep as I go and look into the market. Of course, I've been extremely hot, so I'm going to be focusing more on what is the reaction following the CPI, right? Is it kind of more of a bottoming capitulatory event to the downside, and then all of a sudden we sweep back up? Or will it continue to break the AI bubble? All things that you need to question. Find out on pre-market prep tomorrow how we feel, of course. We'll see you next time right here on Start Swing Trade.